So I want to tell you guys a quick story, and I'm not trying to brag about myself, but I was a pretty damn good soccer player growing up. In my community, I was considered to be one of the very few who had the potential of going pro. And when I was in elementary school, there was an agency that reached out and asked me if I wanted to go play in Asia. Now, this was a really cool opportunity because not only would I get to improve on my skills, I would get to network, but more importantly, I would get to explore a whole new world. I bragged to my friends about this opportunity. I told them I would be playing in Asia soon. But the reality was that I knew deep down inside that this shit was never really going to happen. You see, my mom worked 2 jobs. My uncle, who I consider my father figure, worked 6 to 7 days a week, 10 to 12-hour days. And even then, we could barely afford to pay rent and cover our basic needs. For 13 years, we lived in a 1-bedroom home with 5+ people because that's all we could afford. Now, the agency did offer some financial aid, but at the end of the day, my family could not afford to pay the rest of the expenses, and therefore I wasn't able to go on this trip. But I did all right in soccer. I ended up walking on to Seattle University's Division I soccer team. But to this day, I can't help but wonder, if I'd been able to go on that trip, would I be the soccer player that most people thought I could be? Or even if I didn't make it in soccer, right? Who would I be today if I'd been able to go on that trip? Now, for those who don't know me, my name is Cheno Barajas, and I'm the co-founder of the I Believe in You Foundation. Me, along with co-founder Walter, are partnering up with a teacher at the White Salmon Middle School in Washington State who puts together a field trip to Washington, D.C. every 2 years during spring break. The cost of this trip is $2,500 per kid, and most families in the community are not able to send their kids on this trip. So our goal with this foundation is to be able to raise enough money to send at least 10 kids to the next trip to Washington, D.C. You see, I don't want these kids 20 years from now to be saying the same things I'm telling you today. What if I'd been able to go on this trip? Instead, I want these kids 20 years from now to be able to say, that trip changed my life. So we're not asking you to give us money. We're not asking you to donate to our foundation. Now, if you have the resources to do so, feel free to click the link in the bio and donate. But there's another way you can help us, and that is by helping us get this in front of as many people as possible. You see, the more people that see this, the greater the chances are that a big company or a big name that has a larger reach might see this and help us take this to the next level, because we're not just trying to help the white salmon community. Our goal is to eventually be able to help the underserved communities around the state, around the country, and eventually around the world. And I know we're dreaming big, but fuck it, why not? So we got to start somewhere. But we ask that you help us by subscribing to our channel, by following our content, by liking, by sharing, and by helping us get this in front of as many people as possible. So let's make this happen, and let's change some lives. Thank you.